Now let's talk about Pakistan, a country caught in a perpetual game of twister. Their problems are never ending, it seems. There's a caretaker government in place before the election takes place, possibly next year. And this caretaker government faces a new security nightmare. Terrorists with American guns. That's what the Pakistan government faces. The Prime Minister of Pakistan says there is a quote-unquote emerging challenge. And which group is he talking about? The Pakistani Taliban, better known as the Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan or TTP. They are using American weapons and launching attacks on Pakistani soil. Where did they source American weaponry? From Afghanistan. The TTP is friends with the Taliban. And when they returned to power, the Taliban, when they returned to power, they found a huge cache of American weapons. The US forces had left these weapons behind and the stockpile was massive. It had night vision goggles, guns, ammunition, armored vehicles, even helicopters. The US left all of this behind. Do you know what was the total value of the stockpile? We have an estimate from April last year. The equipment is worth around $7 billion. Americans left weapons worth $7 billion for the Taliban. And how did the Taliban reach this stockpile? You see, the US had supplied these weapons to the Afghan government. They were supposed to be used by the Afghan army. But 2 years back, the government and the army fell. The Taliban took control of Kabul and they also seized this arsenal. And since then, these weapons have been showing up everywhere. Indian authorities found them too, in Jammu and Kashmir. We are still talking about American weapons found in the hands of terrorists in Kashmir, those who crossed over from Pakistan and tried to create trouble in India. The Taliban has been selling these weapons. Weapon bazaars have sprung up in Afghanistan. American assault weapons are being sold there. Like the M4 gun, it has a price tag, $2,400. These markets have hardware from other countries too, like Russia's AK-47 rifle. It's a relatively cheaper weapon than the American M4. The Russian gun sells for as little as $130. So the Taliban are now arms dealers, the TTP are their clients, and Pakistan is their target. The TTP is going after Pakistan's security forces, their soldiers and the police. And they're increasingly coming under attack. Terrorist attacks in Pakistan are rising. Last year, there was a 27% spike in the number of attacks. There were more than 200 terror attacks in Pakistan, and they killed more than 400 people. Pakistan has blamed the TTP for this surge, and the group agrees. They're taking credit, in fact, for all these attacks. Let me show you some pictures. They were released last year when the TTP attacked the Pakistani forces. They struck in two districts, South Waziristan and Bajaur. Apparently, the TTP used snipers. The shooters fired a dozen times. They used sophisticated equipment like thermal night vision and long-range rifles. Experts say Pakistani troops are struggling to repel these attacks. Last week, there were two more attacks. Again, the TTP was behind them, and the target was the Pakistani army. The first attack happened in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. It was a suicide bombing. A terrorist on a bike rammed into a military convoy. The bike had explosives. 9 Pakistani soldiers died in this attack. The second attack was near the Afghan border. 2 Pakistani soldiers were killed here. One of them was a major. The TTP struck again today, again in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. They attacked the Pakistan army near the border. Reports say the TTP has captured 2 security checkpoints. Now, this group is becoming a serious threat for the Pakistani army. In July, even the army chief acknowledged this. He said the TTP was using safe havens in Afghanistan. So indirectly, they're blaming the Taliban for their security issues. And the Taliban is a group created by Pakistan, nurtured, sustained, and brought back to power by the Pakistani regime. Now, the same Taliban is supporting the TTP. Pakistan wants Kabul to crack down. Instead, the Taliban is offering them advice. In July, Pakistan dispatched a special envoy to Kabul. It was a 3-day trip. The envoy had a simple assignment. He was supposed to meet Taliban leaders and deliver a stern message. Pakistan demanded, quote-unquote, decisive action against the TTP. Islamabad said, and I'm quoting again, its patience was wearing thin. And what was the Taliban's response? They met the envoy several times, but they refused to take action. Instead, they told Pakistan, and I'm quoting, to pursue the path of peace. The Taliban said Pakistan should talk to the TTP, talk about chickens coming home to roost. Pakistan propped up the Taliban to hurt India and others. They wanted a puppet regime in Kabul. Now that puppet has sprouted a mind of its own. It is offering diplomatic advice to Pakistan. Rawalpindi's grand strategy has been upended by homegrown terrorists.